New York City officials say they may go back to Washington for more financial help. Mayor Abraham Bean says falling revenues and rising costs have now ballooned the budget deficit to $1 billion, $300 million more than projected last fall. Bean said that there will have to be more spending cuts and thousands of new firings. Joan Snyder now reports on what the cuts already have done to people who depend on city services to survive.
A waiting room at a New York City municipal hospital where frustration runs high these days.
I've been here ever since 8:30 this morning, just about over 4 hours waiting. They really need more help here. What's going to happen to us? The people that can't pay to go to a private doctor like the rich.
Hospital officials say that the city hospitals are in the worst crisis of their history because of reduced numbers of doctors, nurses, and other workers, a result of the deep cuts in New York City's budget. The sharply reduced level of spending has meant the loss of more than 40,000 city jobs in the past year and reductions in service in all areas, altering life across the city, halting construction, and raising a continuing controversy over whether the lives and well-being of New Yorkers have been jeopardized. At Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx, a shortage of nurses has helped to cause crowded clinics. But in the coronary care unit, half of the 12 beds are now kept empty because there aren't enough nurses to monitor the patient's heartbeats closely, as required.
I think it's fair to say that lives are being endangered by this situation. It's very difficult to point to any specific instance where you can actually firmly document this, but any generally accepted standard of care for a coronary patient in this nation demands that the patient receive intensive nursing supervision for the first few days after coronary. And for the patients who would normally have occupied the beds in this unit that are now vacant, that level of care is unavailable, and those patients are endangered.
The budget cuts have also meant a loss of more than 4,000 police jobs. Many of those laid off held a meeting earlier this week to hear about plans to put a referendum on the November ballot aimed at restoring the jobs of police officers and firemen.
Every time the adequate levels of manpower are allowed to crash downward, the people of New York City are made to pay the price in higher crime statistics, property damage due to fire, and deaths caused by crime and fire.
The police and fire departments have denied such charges. The police department says that although crime did increase last year, it wasn't because of the layoffs, since police taken off patrol had been replaced by administrative personnel. The fire commissioner says that the city has not yet been jeopardized by the cutbacks, but that if there are any large cuts in future, New Yorkers might well be endangered. 8 firehouses have been closed, but one of them in Brooklyn is far from quiet. Neighborhood people have occupied the firehouse since last November and vow to remain till the firemen are returned. They don't take the engine to fires for fear of being arrested, but they cook and eat in what was the firemen's kitchen and sleep on the mattresses left behind. Their spirit is defiant.
To me, I feel like the city's trying to kill this neighborhood. I feel that I'm a taxpayer, and it's a shame that taxpayers have to run the firehouse.
Another area diminished by budget cuts is the schools, where many special programs have been discontinued, including free English classes for adults, the kind of classes that successive waves of immigrants attended to try to feel more a part of their new country. A group of foreign-born women in the Bronx who attended one such class, until it was recently disbanded for lack of funds, met to talk about their memories and their regrets.
When I came to this country, I went to work. We used to work 6 days a week, come home, and did not have a chance to go to school. It was food for me when I came to this class.
And every day we have news of the day, about new countries, what goes on all over. And really, when I come among people, I can converse. There's nobody that I cannot stand up to. And they look at me, Sophie, where have you learned all this?
And how do you feel now that the classes have ended?
Very badly. I feel like something was ripped out of me. And I miss it very much. I'm still hoping that maybe we'll get the class back.
For New Yorkers who feel deprived of important services, there's no relief in sight. City officials say they have no choice but to continue the austerity program and to plan still further cutbacks for the months ahead. Joan Snyder, CBS News, New York.